my daddy's live show, Technically Speaking Live. It is the best show ever, in my opinion.
I'm literally trying to do some of this stuff right off the fly, but what's up, everybody? It's Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Thursday in the future for my friends in Australia. I think we're live. I'm going to look over at, I have a studio audience today, and in my studio audience is my daughter. I see her on her iPhone. That's right. I'm getting yet again another view. I believe that I'm live. Am I live? Gigi, give me a thumbs up. Yes, I'm good. Okay, I'm going to take that. Welcome to Technically Speaking Live. We got a wonderful show today. Adding a couple things. I'm trying to go all in on StreamYard to where I can do some of the same things that I was doing with OBS before, and Cast Stream. No, what's this one called? Hang on a minute. So StreamYard's what I'm on now. Streamlabs, which is an extension like OBS. I really like the idea of making this high-end live show, but I'm going all in on StreamYard, mostly because of Michael Daniels and things like that. So I am excited. I took last week off for a couple reasons. One of the reasons I'm going to talk about here in a little bit is about getting to know your data when you're making content. That's because I am using vidIQ and things of that nature to make sure I make content. And I'm going to bring somebody on who's also helping me make sure that I have the most clickbaity of thumbnails and clickbaity of titles. Kevin, the Tech Ninja, is going to join us tonight, and Stats Always for sure will be joining us as well. I'm hoping that Shawn will also be joining so we can have a nice rousing conversation as it relates to, I think Kevin always rouses me about data analytics and some type of computational something or other about me going to space. But I mean, we'll get into those types of things. Let's head to the comments. And El Jefe, thank you, my friend. What's going on? Just for those that might be joining this live show in about an hour from now, El Jefe is going to be doing and going live on his channel for some audio stuff. And I'm going to try to jump into that stream as I can because I want to catch that El Jefe's live show. A Wannabe Geek, my friend. He is my friend from down under. That's right. I did it again this week. Jason, I'm doing pretty well tonight, man. How are you doing? How are you doing? So now I'm going to go ahead and bring our normal guest in who's always here. Mr. Stats, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you again, Mr. Peachy.
Stats, you look like a lumberjack.
Well, I am getting there. So
I was not talking about your beard.
Yeah, that's okay. This vest is super comfy.
What is it?
Shearling.
I'm sorry. God bless you. What? What is it?
I believe it's shearling, but it's probably actually, I can tell it is synthetic. It's just a vest. I like vests.
What's the first word you said?
Shearling. It's a different word for lamb's wool.
Stats always with the big brain.
Yeah, well, somebody has to be here.
Kevin, the Tech Ninja, is going to be joining us, and he's coming on in 3, 2, 1. I want to make sure that he didn't have anything in his teeth. Here we go. Oh, okay, Kevin, how's it going, man?
What is going on? How are you guys doing today?
My brother, how are you doing?
Oh, we here.
You are looking
doing good, man.
Fresh, brother. I'm loving this. This is a new camera angle I like.
New camera angle. I'm fresh out the shower. I'm ready to rock, man. I'm ready to go.
It looks great back there. You have a beautiful looking big monitor and what Stats referred to as a bass drum behind you. That's like that bokeh. Is it bokeh or bokeh?
I say bokeh.
I say bokeh.
Same.
Yeah.
You're looking just fresh to death, sir.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm here.
Oh, good. So we got Stats. We got Kevin. I have a couple questions that I want to lead off with. One of my questions, I'm going to say it right here. iPhone SE versus the Pixel 4a battle for the low budget. Now, this is a video that I made last week. The reason I didn't go live was for a variety of reasons. One, I was lazy, just straight up lazy. I was tired. Stats and I was talking. He goes, hey, what's the live show look like tonight? And I was like, I don't want to have it because I was just being lazy. But I did record a video, which was my iPhone SE versus the Pixel 4a. And that's really where I started to do some research following Google Trends, because to be completely honest, I have not been feeling making content. But that one was really interesting to me. So I say all of those words because I would love to get Kevin's thoughts on the iPhone SE. And so I'm going to hand the floor to you, sir. I want to know your thoughts on this.
Yeah. So, the way I look at it, it's not a phone for me, but what I think Apple is doing is that they have a phone at everyone's price point now. Because before it was just for an iPhone, it was so expensive. It was always the expensive phone. Then they started bringing out the 10R line. And they brought out the 11 at a lower price. Then they had the Pro. So now they actually are saturating the market with solid phones, and they're big enough where they can put their best chip in all the phones now. And with Apple, you're going to get updates, and then you're able to get into that ecosystem. So imagine, let's say a parent has an iPhone 11 or whatever iPhone, and their kid is ready for an upgrade, ready for a phone, but you don't want to shell out $1,000 for a phone. And give them a $400 iPhone. I mean, it's a natural upgrade, and basically you're supplying a need for the whole family, or depending on your budget, the whole budget, depending on people's needs. So it's a genius move. Definitely.
It's a great move. It's like, here's the thing. It's like, and I texted you on the side. I was like, ooh, this is real ungood for Pixel and Android, because like that's a game changer. Much like you just said, is the idea of, you got kids these days at 10, 11, 12 years old, not my 10-year-old, but 10, 11, 12-year-old have phones. Well, like you said, I don't want to buy them $1,000 phone. Especially, what are they going to do? They're going to drop it. They're going to drop it in water. They're going to break it, or they're going to lose it. Like, that's just the things that's going to happen. I have a way easier time losing $400 versus losing $1,200.
Yeah.
So it's easy.
And eventually, Scott, you'll be buying 3 phones for 3 kids, so that's $1,200 right there.
Right. Rather than 36.
The price of one iPhone.
I know, the price of the Pro. Well, by that time, it's
yeah.
probably going to be like $1,800 for a phone. Probably.
Well, which you'll also shell out for your wife. So, because she'll want the top of the line.
She does. She's not like that. That's not how she gets down, which is fine. Now, I, however, will do that, but she won't. I think it's a great move for iPhones, and that's probably the toughest part, is because Pixel 3a was like the phone I was recommending last year, and I still recommend the 3a and the 3a XL to a lot of people from a price point perspective. But man, if you're already in an Apple ecosystem, or you want that status symbol, because let's be honest, it is also somewhat of a status symbol, you're going to get way more street cred with an iPhone than you're going to get with a Pixel.
I think I want to push back on status symbol per se with an Apple product in America, because so many people have iPhones now, and it's not like a big deal. And the cool thing is about iPhones is that they last a while. So you still see a lot of 7s and 8s running around, believe it or not, and they're still fine. So I do want to push back on the status symbol thing, just because
I'm going to push back. I'm gonna push back a little bit, because how many times have we heard there's memes going around like, I don't trust Android users or people who don't use iMessage? Like, those memes exist for a reason.
I wouldn't think it's a status symbol. I would just think that it's more of just I guess Apple is so Android hostile that it makes communicating with an Android phone that much harder if you're trying to use text message. So I go with status, because I look at it a lot like Beats by Dre. Remember when the Beats by Dre was out there? Like, everybody had to have them, even though they were actually, back in the day, not very good headphones in terms of audio quality. But like, I've seen kids just wearing them, just like as a fashion accessory. Like, to me, that's a very status symbol type thing. And I think Apple's gotten better, but there's a lot of memes that are still out there. Like, I don't trust unless you got a green bubble. Yeah.
And I don't trust people, or they do the thing where the Android photos, they looks like a potato took it. And they're like, oh, this was taken on an Android phone. I was like, oh, come on. That's not even true anymore. Maybe back in the day.
If you text the picture, it looks like that. Yeah. Dude,
if you send an iPhone video to an Android, it looks like it was the worst possible video ever created. Like, awful.
It looks like Zabruta footage, like a Zabruta footage filter was put over that video, and that's just how it looked. And Apple does it on purpose. I really think they do that on purpose.
They have to, because like, when I send something to an iPhone, it looks perfect.
Yeah,
just like it normally does. But if I send anything from an iPhone to an Android, it looks like it was filmed on like 120p. It was awful, just
Yeah.
huge blocks. So Brian actually says, I think, let me pull it up real quick. Honestly, I think iPhone people will get the SE, but the 4A is a better phone. There's a lot of people out there, like in terms of major reviewers, that have talked about that the iPhone SE is very little pomp and circumstance. It's a solid phone for $400, and I think
That's all it needs.
That's all it needs to be. That's all it needs to be. Plus, Apple's going to be getting all that data, and and I'm a data guy, as Kevin loves to point out. I am a data guy, and I deal with a lot of data, and so for me, it's that data to Apple is extremely valuable. Also, the fact that Apple can get you immediately at a very young age into the ecosystem can get you locked in, make you real sticky, and sticky meaning like I need an iPad, I need an iPhone, I need a MacBook, I need all of these things. You wouldn't want to leave that ecosystem if that's where you started. It's a brilliant move.
Well, especially not once you start investing in all of those devices. I mean, all of those together, you're looking at $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 of equipment. And once you're invested in that ecosystem, it's really hard to break away.
Well, you actually were a person who did break from the ecosystem, I believe. If I remember right.
Yeah, but I'm not going to dispute that. My first smartphone was an iPhone, but I wasn't as heavily invested as other people because I had already moved away from the Apple laptop to a Chromebook just because of the price point. And I had never bought into the iTunes ecosystem. I wasn't taking a lot of pictures yet. So I hadn't set any of that up. And then you and Greg convinced me to come to the dark side of Android. And I especially with Google Music, I never looked back. So.
Okay. Google Music is a big deal. And there's one comment out here is, boy, I could not agree more with this. If Apple released iMessage for Android, it is game over.
Yeah, so they won't.
Yeah, they know that they wouldn't because that's a big thing, like that and AirDrop.
Yeah, I can get away with not having AirDrop. I don't want to get away with it, but if iMessage was on the table for Android, I will be on a OnePlus One device for the past 3 years now. Period.
Interesting. See, here's the most interesting thing because this is actually a comment that came over segue. I owe you like $20. Maybe I'll buy you a drink when we go to the golf courses. From the people they've asked, like, what are my thoughts specifically on the OnePlus launch, the 8 Pro and the 8? I have my thoughts. I don't want to spoil any video that Kevin might have coming out anytime soon about it. So I think I said it, on Twitter. I've said it numerous other ways. I made a video about the device that Kevin let me borrow. Man, the OnePlus 7T is a fabulous device. I mean, it is really good. I would assume that the OnePlus 8 Pro and the 8 are equally the same fabulous device as it comes to snappiness, just battery life, for just ungodly great battery life, most likely. I don't have the device to prove it otherwise, but I'm guessing it's a lot like that. Just ridiculously quick, great, just feels great in the hand. Overall, just a high quality phone, tons of like tech specs to throw at it. But really for me, what it's going to come down to, and I said it in the OnePlus 7T as well, is the fact that you're going to have to come correct with the camera to compete on it. And that's been OnePlus's biggest struggle, is the fact that its cameras are the weakest. But they got away with that for a while because they threw a ton of specs at a really cheap price. But now you have the OnePlus 8 Pro coming in at $899. I think it's $899. And then you got the OnePlus 8 regular coming in at $699. Now, from what I've seen in some of the videos out there by a lot of folks, is the idea that the cameras have gotten significantly better for a OnePlus device. But I don't know if it's still going to surpass some other Android devices, and for sure, definitely not an Apple. That's what I've gathered. So that's my 2 cents in terms of what it probably is. Now you're getting into, okay, it's a flagship price now. Like you're going to drop $1,000 or $900+ on a device. And can you get away with the camera at that quality in today's day and age? So I got to ask that question, as I'm not sure I would be willing to spend $900, but the camera is just that important to me. It's my number one feature for sure. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah. I don't mind talking about it. I'm not going to ruin a video or anything like that. So yeah, I've been using the OnePlus 8 for a little under a week now. And the camera is a lot better than any other OnePlus phone, right? Is it better than iPhone? No. Is it better than Pixel? No. But for me personally, I think it's good enough. I honestly do think it's on par with the S20. From the images I'm taking right now, and actually some of the problems with the S20, I'm actually seeing on the OnePlus as well. A lot of the shots I take, especially of moving subjects like my son, a lot of times it's nailing the focus in the background, nailing focus in front. It's not nailing that focus that I expect to nail. And so a lot of my images actually look like the S20. So when it does nail that shot, it looks really, really good. But it's just not the most consistent camera I've used. I do think HDR looks really good, but the camera does one weird thing, and it's software, so I think they can fix it, is that it over brightens images. So images that has like a natural shadow, the HDR kicks in a little too much and kind of overdoes it. So what I do is before I take the picture, I kind of lower the exposure a little bit on the side. On the side, you kind of pull it down about 2 clicks, and the image looks really good. So the camera is a lot better. It is up there with the S20 in my opinion. Not for video though. Video is still several steps behind the S20 and iPhone, period.
The Apple iPhone Pro, the video is unbelievable still.
Yeah. And so, but for me, the in-hand experience, the performance, just everything else about the phone is just great to use. And of course, that fast screen, no compromise. You don't have to drop it to HD to use it. You can use it at Quad HD. The screen looks good. I mean, it feels like OnePlus is made by people who love phones and not by a manufacturer who wants to make phones. It feels like these are phone lovers really putting in the effort and really putting in thoughts about making a phone really good. That's how it feels to me.
That's really kind of what they based their whole company on, really, is like, that's when the original OnePlus One came out, is like huge beefy phone, and the evolution of that is just incredible. So yeah, I'm with you. Is like, my thoughts are, I would definitely go with the Pro. I wouldn't go with the regular 8. I would go with the Pro. Bigger battery life, screen's better. You get actual warp wireless charging. So those things, wireless like charging. To me, it's a no brainer between the two. Is like, I'm going to take that extra money and put it towards the Pro. So yeah. Well, we do have an extra guest that comes in, and I'm excited for him to be on, because I got some questions about what he's getting into on Saturday night, and we'll talk about that. So we're going to bring in Shawn, AKA Shawn Be Nice. What's up, my brother? How are you?
Yo, what's going on, Scott, man? Appreciate you for having me, man. What's going on, man? Kev, what's going on? Stats, what's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Howdy, Shawn.
Man, how are you?
Good, man. Good.
And man, did you talk about the technical difficulties? Did you get it all figured out?
So what's funny is I actually had to switch over to my Logitech webcam because I was trying to get it going on my GH5, but the cam link just was not cooperating tonight. So,
dude, I had that happen before, so I'm with you. Cam link. I'm surprised mine's not gone out yet.
So yeah, man. But the Logitech, it still looks good, So I'm still giving the quality I want to give people,
I was gonna say, it looks good. So I got to get right to it, man. I got to ask this question. Everybody on this show knows I'm a huge fan of the Saturday Night Tech Fights, and as a matter of fact, Kevin on this very show destroyed me not more than like 3 weeks ago, pretty much ended my career. I have absolutely no soul left because of what he did to me. So,
okay,
you are on Saturday Night Tech Fights. Are you ready? You're going against one of my close brother from overseas, Ben.
Yeah, that's my man.
He is a great dude. So, are you ready for your tech fight this Saturday?
So I am more than ready. The thing that separates me and Ben, I feel like, is that Ben is a stats reader. He, on paper, if it sounds like it's a home run, he can champion that. But for me, I'm a professional. So I'm out in the field, and when out in the field, stats really don't matter. You know what I mean? It's about one, composition and all type of other things that kind of makes a camera experience. So, the camera he's going to bat for right now, to kind of give you guys a sneak peek, is a Fuji X-T4. But
he almost convinced me to buy it. I'll be honest.
Oh my God. I mean, but to the point that he's going to get rid of his Sony gear. And to me, I would never leave Sony. If I had a Sony camera, I would never leave Sony's mounting system. Like, it is by far, I think if you look at EF glass, I think you got a whole Sony like right there with the E mount at this point because of how many lenses they have. So to get rid of that, to go from one APS-C sensor, because he doesn't have a full frame, just to go to another and then have to get a whole new different lens selection that's not even as mature, in my opinion, as Sony. That's crazy. That is crazy, and I just couldn't see why you would do that.
Dude, I am so excited to watch your guys' fight with this because it's like your stuff. Like I hopefully people are not sleeping on you with what arguments you're about to make. You're talking.
Oh my God.
You are. I've seen some of your stuff. You absolutely are a professional. So I would say, let's tease the people with, who are you? What do you do? Obviously link to some of your socials to talk about some, so people can go out and check your stuff and see what you do. But yeah, just tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
All right. So what's going on, everybody? My name is Shawn Brooks. I used to go by Shawn Be Nice when I used to review tech on YouTube, but I kind of got out of that and kind of fell in love with camera. So now I discuss filming tricks. I do review on lenses and all type of filming gear. I am a professional from Chicago, East Side to be exact, East Side of Chicago. And I'm also a wedding filmmaker, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you guys want to know like tips and tricks on how to get into that, or some of the horror stories that I've had out in the field, please make sure you check out my work. I'll make sure I send the Scott the link so you guys can check it out. But I love what I do. I can't say that. Like, I was in corporate America for about 13 years until I was like, all right, well, this is it. So I love what I do.
Awesome,
good for you, brother. Good for you for getting out of the corporate rat race.
Oh my God, man, that's all it is. You know what I mean? It's a rat race. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I'm in and I can't get out. I'm in for life. I'm just trying to do this stuff. I'm trying to do this stuff on the side until somebody hands me a check with a bunch of zeros on it to where I might be able to do it. Maybe I'll host a show one day. You never know.
I mean, see, I think a lot of people say that, but what it is, man. It's corporate also provides that safety net, like no matter what, every 2 weeks, that you have a consistent income coming in, whereas versus something you working for yourself, you're sitting here like, what you put in is what you get out. So if you had a rough week, you're probably gonna have a rough payout, but it's it's fulfilling though. You know what I mean? I would definitely say that it's fulfilling, but it's not for everyone either though.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna ask this, and I know I have a setup. Kev's got one. Stats, we'll talk about yours in a minute, but Shawn, what's your current camera setup? Like, you probably have multiples, but what's your, like, you got one in your hand, what's the one you're going with?
So right now it's my baby. This is my pride and joy of Panasonic GH5 is what I shoot with. I literally just got this lens in the mail today. This is a Sigma 16 mil 1.4. I got rid of all my adaptive glass. I got rid of my Metabone speed booster. Here's the thing. I would say this because it's, again, I love cameras, so I cannot nerd out about it. But YouTubers will make you get things based off the way that they shoot, and you sometimes forget, like, you have a style of your own. You know what I mean? So if you're buying lenses, based off recommendations, you're basing it off how this person likes to shoot their footage, versus you're not seeing the way you should shoot your own footage. So, once I started to really develop and learn my own style and kind of get out of the, all right, I want to shoot like Peter McKinnon, I want to shoot like Matty Hopoa, it was like, all right, I'm going to get lenses that I know that I need to fit my, my creativity, my shot selection. So that's what I've been doing. Okay. So I just get the 42.5, which is the 85 equivalent for full frame. And then I got the 25 mil coming in, which is a 50 mil equivalent. And then the old tried and true, the 12-35, which is a 24-70. So all native glass, and I shoot on a Weeble less. Like that's my gimbal. You guys into gimbals or not? Yeah.
Scott is.
I am, but mine's more mobile. So like I use mine for the iPhones and the Pixels and things like that. So
I actually want to get into more mobile videography because like it's a lane for that. You know what I mean? Especially with gimbals, man. Like it is definitely a lane for that.
Yeah, that's good. We're gonna come back because I have questions about that too. So, Kev, what's your setup that you got?
Yeah, so my current setup is a A7 III, and I have a couple lenses, but the one you're seeing right now is my 28 millimeter 1.4, and I use Pro Mist filter on it to make my skin real buttery smooth. I use that on Aero. I know, right? I know. So I use that, and then I have a 24-105, and I have a Rokinon 35 millimeter cine lens, which I use for a lot of my B-roll. I'll use my cine lens for that, just because I think it makes the best image, creamy bokeh and everything like that. And then like when I'm at like a show, I have a Weeble S as well. I'm pretty much Weeble S, main camera, 28 millimeter, and run and gun, get everything nice and tight. And that's pretty much it. I try to keep it really simple. I mean, I have a lot of other stuff. I have like sliders and all these overhead rigs and stuff, but I really try to keep it simple as much as possible to maximize my time shooting. So,
all right, stats, what you got?
Pixel 3 XL.
There you go, baby. That's all you need. And so for me, so I have this guy right here. It's a Canon EOS R. That was the thing. That was the first one that I got myself with a 35 millimeter lens. So I pretty much use 35 mil for everything. I do have the Nifty 50 for Canon. I also have the pancake lens, the 24 millimeter. And actually what I'm on right now, on that camera there, which is a Canon T7i, which is my very first camera, I have a Yongnuo 35 millimeter. It was like an $85 lens, and it's a champ. It is the most unbelievable cheap lens. I've had more comments on like, what lens are you using? And it's this cheap Yongnuo lens from Amazon that I just happened to find. And I don't know why it works, but it's perfect for the live show. I absolutely love it for that. So
nice, man.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like there's some very cheap Chinese knockoffs on Amazon that sometimes you just hit one and it does well. So Shawn, you talked about it. Thoughts on mobile photography and videography. So let me throw that in there too.
So there is a space for it. Okay, I'm not gonna sit there and say that it can be done. A very good movie on Netflix I think it's called High Flying Bird was shot on the iPhone.
Yep.
But what I can say is this: like the problem that I have with that is that the sensor is just it's not big enough. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, don't get me wrong. The way computational algorithms and stuff like that, like the way it's coming up and creating a picture and enhancing the photos and everything, it looks amazing. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, like I know I can recognize or at least on the video side, I can recognize the difference between a phone and an actual camera. You know what I mean? The details in there, the depth of field, like you're going to notice that. But for photos, I personally feel like right now in our day and age, most of the media that we consume is on our phones anyway. Mm-hmm. You can definitely, be held as an elitist or whatever you want to call it and with mobile photography. The pictures that you get from phones nowadays are really, they're great. You know what I mean? They're great.
Yeah, I think the mobile photography is way easier to pull off as like the professional look than the videography. But man, Apple's videography on their Pro and their Pro Max is bananas. So Apple's got it figured out a little bit better than other ones. Like the Pixel is just hot. It's not good. Like I was going to say hot trash, but that's really harsh because I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah.
But it's definitely average at best. But the photos, like they have Annie Leibovitz coming out there saying she's shooting whole magazine articles and photos like that with just a phone. And I think you can get away with that way more for photography than video.
Definitely agree. I agree with that 100%. It's like the thing is with video though, you know, sometimes when you watch a movie, that depth of field just can really help paint a scene, you know, and that's just something that you can slap on a lens, you know, but it's not the same. You know, it's not the same. In my opinion, that is.
Yeah. Kevin and I know we've talked a lot about. I'd love to know your thoughts, Kevin, on mobile photography.
Yeah, so my wife, her phone is a Pixel 3, and she still uses the Pixel 3, whatever. She's not into tech or anything like that. And all the pictures of my son have been taken with her phone, and I have no regrets at all. Like, everything looks good, the pictures are great, and she's just pointing, going to portrait mode, and taking a picture. Everything's fine. I have no regrets at all. We've even printed out some pictures. We did a couple books from Google. It's fine. Now, if I'm doing a wedding and I need to play around with more lighting, dynamic range, and things like that, of course, I'm going to pull out a better camera for that. But for 99% of photos, they live on social media and they don't leave social media. So why go the extra effort of pulling your camera out? Of course, if you're a hobbyist, of course, you're going to, want to play with it. That's completely fine. But those people who snob their nose or point their nose up at people who use a cell phone and say that I'm doing photography, that's old thinking, because a lot of these cameras, they even have pro modes where you can dive into the settings if you want. And, so yeah, it's not going to replace the traditional camera yet, but the line is getting very close. And especially like the Pixel line, with good lighting and good subjects, man, you can get some really good photos. As far as video, what Shawn said is correct. Like, you can always tell a cell phone from an actual camera, depth of field and even shutter speed and things like that. But they're now making more and more things though for phones. They're having ND filters and polarized lenses and all these things, which can bridge the gap a little bit. I've shot plenty of video where I filled in some B-roll with the phone. Filled in, didn't completely change the whole video, but there wasn't a significant drop off, and for a 2 to 3 second clip, you couldn't tell at that moment. So it definitely has its place. It's not replacing traditional cameras just yet, but it does have its place, and you can get away with using both.
Stats uses one pretty exclusively, so I would say, you don't have the option of DSLR. So, Stats, what's some of the things that you do from your camera perspective?
Well, recognizing the limitations of the sensor and the zoom, most of the stuff I'm taking is pictures of people or things within a fairly short distance. The limitation that hurts the most is when you're trying to take pictures of something more than, probably 200 yards away. Even being in Ohio Stadium, hopefully if we get to watch football games again this year, halfway zoomed in, doing a panorama across the stadium, it looks great. But anything farther than maybe 200 yards away, you're really losing that fidelity on the details on the image that your eyes can capture thanks to evolution, but the phone technology just isn't quite there yet. So that's the only time, especially taking road trips or driving out west or something, where you really want a larger camera with a bigger sensor that can capture more data.
I think Kevin got tired of our conversation and got a snack. I think he stopped at some point.
No, I've been snacking the whole time, man. I'm freaking hungry, dude. I'm dying right now.
I do want to piggyback on something Kevin said with the video side. He's right, because it just hit me though about as far as your phone being able to at least fill in some spots for video. Like I had shot an ad for a client, and I needed to get a shot underwater, so I just used my Galaxy phone, put it underwater, and got the shot that I needed. So it can definitely, I would say that it has its place.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Is like, you're right. I would have never thought about the water thing, and you're just like, oh crap, I guess I could just stick it underwater, and it's not a problem at all. It's like, problem solved. And when you get those water shots, I'm sure it's one of those things like, I'm not putting my several $1,000 camera underwater. You are a crazy person. I don't think so.
Exactly. Whether sealed or not, I'm not doing it.
Not a chance. I was like, no, thank you. So a couple things. Wannabe Gig, my friend, thank you so much for the super chat. As always, you are a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And this, to me, gotta be something that happens this fall. Has to be when whatever the new Google device comes out. it must have 4K 60 frames a second. It just has to.
Unpopular opinion, I would trade 60 frames for 24. Unpopular opinion.
Huh. Okay. I'll give you that. I could totally see that.
It's definitely unpopular, but
I would say this though. Like with 60 though, you can still like convert it to 24 if need be.
Yeah, but usually when you go to 60, it ups the shutter speed though, and then you don't get that footage when you downscale to 24, and you get flickering lights in the background and things that are things that are unnatural. So
yeah, I have no idea what any of you are talking about.
I this is why I know what they're talking about, mostly because I have tried to take a video of something on my computer screen, and because of the refresh rate on a monitor, you see it look like it's scrolling when nothing's moving.
I know what they're saying, but like they got into so level like they went one level deeper than what I am. I'm like, I'm cool with my BS right here. You get me one level deeper.
Come on, your BS is way
high.
Their
like
intelligence level is just above it.
Oh no, these two guys are way smarter than me. Way smarter than me. Now you get me with data. I get you. I get that one. I get you with the data. I know where my lane is. Sorry. So I got to ask this number one tip for a photographer or videographer today. If you had to say something, what's the one tip you give them?
The camera that you own is the camera for the job. The camera that you currently own is the camera for the job.
All right. Love it. Kevin?
Get lower. Everything looks better when it's shot at like a lower angle. Get lower.
I like that. Yeah.
True story. I did that.
Yeah.
That's a really true story.
Scott, your most recent post of the bridge over 670. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I got low. Like I went like I took a couple shots with my Canon and then a couple shots with a Pixel, and I was like, okay, I'm on the ground, like tipped up, and it ended up being my favorite photo of that night. I have this crazy idea, because with everything going on with the pandemic and all that jazz, I want to stop in the middle of a huge highway, like going into Columbus, stop in the middle of the highway, get out and snap a picture from the ground, like up with no cars around. Because I think it would be like the coolest shot, like complete ghost town. Like, what did you live through with, the pandemic? It was the idea of major arteries into the capital city of your state were nothing. Nada. Right. And I have not been able to get that shot unless I get run over by a car.
I've got an idea for that.
We'll talk about that offline. I love that. I love where your head's probably going because I have an idea where it's going.
Okay.
And I'm picking up what you're putting down.
All right.
I love it.
I would say this though. I want to see it when you get it. Okay. I really want to see it.
I want to get it.
You want the second photographer off the side taking a picture of Scott taking the picture.
That's the two-man job. See, and this is what I'm going to ask is like, so here's what I'm thinking. It's a two-man job. This sounds terrible. Taken out of context, it's like going to be like rob a bank or something. Two-man job. Stats you're driving whenever we're not allowed, or whenever we're allowed to do the social distancing thing or not do it. You drive the van. We'll pull over. I will get in the middle of the road. Snap the picture. You snap the picture of me, but you're in the driver's seat, so you're like actually hanging out the window. And then I'll snap the picture and then run back. That's the plan.
I mean, I love you, but I can run faster than you. So
yeah, but I'm not giving you my camera for you to drop. I want to take the shot.
That's a good point.
I want the shot.
Any plane that starts with a van, I don't like.
It's not a white van. It's a Chrysler Pacifica. It's dope, man.
We could use my truck. You could ride in the back, and that way we're 6 feet apart.
Ooh. What if this? You drive the Jeep. I'll be in the back of the Jeep. Ooh, okay.
You get something there. Yeah, listen. If he's driving you in the back, he just slow down.
Yeah, he could just stop in the middle, and I could just snap from the Jeep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and then we can turn the car around and drive backwards up 71, and you can take a picture that way.
man, if I could get like this,
I like you do that.
This collage is like, because there's major highways in Columbus. So you got 315 runs north and south, 70 that runs east and west, 71 that also runs north and south, but a different way, and 670. So if I could get all of those basically during the pandemic, you could basically show that Columbus was somewhat of a ghost town on the highways where it's normally just like really busy.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a super interesting like collage of photos.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. So anyway, sorry. Kevin had get low. For me, it says like, think of the crazy shot that you would want to take. Don't think that because like, oh, stopping in the middle of a highway is a bad idea. It's a terrible idea, but it's a really cool, creative idea if you can figure out a way to pull it off. Yeah. So think of the crazy and embrace the crazy.
I like that.
So
I like that.
Well, gents, I know we normally go for about an hour-long show, but I have nothing else. So what do you guys have in mind? Anything? Everything?
How deep are you guys into camera talk? You know, like, are you guys even looking at the rumors at all? Like, you know, I'm pretty sure you heard some type of buzz about the Canon R5 at this point.
I heard about it. Yeah, it's basically God's gift to cameras.
Right?
Like, that's what everybody says is like the best camera ever. It's like 8K. You do 4K at 120 frames a second. The codex I heard was bananas.
Dude, I felt like Canon was like, just in case you do come out Sony, this is what you're up against.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal.
Because I can't. What you think? Because I'm really curious. You know, because Sony shooters, man. You know, I have a lot of respect for you guys because the mount system alone. Would you trade up the E mount to go to Canon?
Nah. No, I mean, if I was in the market for a new camera, then yeah, but I'm not a believer of selling my whole arsenal to switch lenses, because then A7 III, A7 IV might come out and it might be doing something better than Canon. Then you're hopping back and forth. I don't do that. I think for my workflow, my camera's great, and I've seen people who can use my camera and the stuff they make. I'm nowhere near that, so I kind of feel like I have a lot of room to grow to even fully take advantage of these cameras. So I'm not the type of guy that just jumps back and forth. I mean, for me, the camera is my tool, and I just want my tool to be as good as possible, and then I can make my content and be done and kind of move on. I do like cameras, but it's an expensive thing to get into. So I kind of just get my setup and I make my workflow as fast as possible, and I kind of leave it alone. But I mean, I will be checking it out. I will be looking at it, but just not for me to purchase.
Yep.
I'll get you on that. I hear you on that one.
Yeah. So Kathleen, Kevin, you got a Peloton.
Yeah.
What are the headphones that she should get for her new Peloton?
Any active headphones are fine, because the audio quality isn't fantastic on it. So I use wireless Beats Pro, but you don't have to use that. Anything from like Aukey is fine. Liberty, I know a lot of people love the Liberties. I haven't used those yet. So I mean, anything really, because audio quality is not fantastic. Because you hear the instructor talking and you hear the music in the background. It's kind of a mix, but it's not great audio. So I don't think you'll take advantage of it. Just something that can contain sweat. It's something that doesn't pop out of your ears, because you will sweat. You will sweat a lot.
If I ever get on a Peloton, I'm going to be lucky to hear anything over the sound of my ragged breathing. So, Trust me, I'm dying half the time, and I'm breathing super hard the whole time, and like sweat is flying and hitting the screen. It's gross.
It's
bad, man.
I walk and I get ragged breathing. I walk. And that's how it's going to go. Me riding a Peloton, I'm going to get maybe 20 yards on a Peloton. I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm going to go eat a cheeseburger.
No. Well, you're going to go eat the Double Five Guys Challenge. What you going to eat?
Oh, so we did that. We'll talk about that in a second. But first of all, 7 weeks delivery time now.
Ooh,
what?
Yep. Lord,
what? Everyone's ordered them. So when I ordered it, and I was able to get mine in 2 days. So the demand has spiked significantly, obviously.
There's no gyms open.
Yeah, but here's the crazy thing about a Peloton. The live classes, of course, they have on-demand stuff. They have thousands of on-demand classes, but the live classes were done when the whole quarantine happened. It was done. but they were still doing live classes with like no one in the class and then just the instructor and the camera person. And then an employee got sick. So they got rid of live classes. Starting today, though, the instructors are doing classes from their house now. So today was like a first class from the instructor's apartment. And she was doing the bike thing in her own apartment, which was interesting.
What?
But
I wonder how her neighbors feel about A, the sound of the bike, and B, her yelling into a microphone.
Get off the bike!
Well, the bike is silent, so that helps. But her yelling into the microphone might be a thing. But I don't have to go to the live classes. Like the on-demand classes are good enough for me. So I don't need to go to live class, but I went to it today, and it was 23,000 people live.
23,000?
23.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That is insanity.
What?
Yeah. So, yeah. I came in 9,000 place, by the
way. That's pretty good, dude.
That's pretty good, dude. Actually, 23,000.
I know.
I'm 23,001. That's how slow I would be. So 2 weeks, was it about 2 weeks ago? Almost 2 weeks ago, Stats and I did the Five Guys challenge. Now this is a challenge. This is just something dumb. When Greg was alive, Greg and I went to a Five Guys one day and said, we ate Five Guys, and my favorite burger had the Five Guys, which was just like a two patty cheeseburger, had the fries. He did too, and then he made the comment of, man, I'm still hungry. I could eat another one. I said $5. I took a $5 bill out of my pocket. Says $5 says you can't. And of course he goes, well, the hell with that. I'm going to show you that I can do it. Orders the $8 burger, $8 or $9 burger, gets it, eats it, hates himself for it, and wins the $5. So basically he goes, wait a minute, I just paid $3 or $4 to feel like crap, and I only got the $5 bill. He goes, yeah, that's true. So we did it. And I have to say that Stats ate the 2 burgers faster than I could. Stats, you ate 2 full-size Five Guy burgers in how long?
4 minutes and 6 seconds.
Jeez.
Yep. And mine was in the 4:30s.
Yeah.
Like I was no slouch, still less than 5 minutes, but Stats was able to put down 2 fully leaded Five Guy burgers in less than and so let me tell you, it's right here. It was like I got an air bubble like stuck.
Yeah, it's definitely the diaphragm. It's not the chewing, it's not the throat, it's not the stomach. It's the diaphragm where you're trying to breathe past all of that at the same time to keep
bread and beef. Yeah,
it felt like my chest was going to explode like that Aliens movie because it hurt so bad. And then like it shifted around, a little burp came out, and all of a sudden it was fine. Those are the dumb things that we do. So
yes, without a doubt.
Yeah. So Kevin, how's TikTok?
I haven't made anything in a couple weeks, man. I don't know. I was doing like Tesla Tuesday tips. But I just like I'm not driving. I'm not in my car. I don't have anything, man.
Yeah,
so
you should start a new dance craze wearing those crazy pants.
No, I'm not on there dancing, man. That's the last thing I'm doing is dancing. I'm not on there dancing. TikTok is cool for small bursts. 10 minutes. If I have 10 minutes to kill, I'm gonna go on TikTok and watch. But I made a joke that TikTok's algorithm is so good that in some weird world, which isn't happening, but like if I wasn't married, I go on TikTok to see what type of woman the algorithm thinks I like, and they'll probably be right.
Really?
Because their algorithm is really like, it's weird on how like specific they are on certain things. So because it recognizes things you look at and how long you look at it, how long until you swipe it away, and all those things is really weird, but yeah, it's very specific on certain things. So. And like it shows, dude.
Hours at a time.
It takes you.
No, come on.
Dude, that's really. Hey, you sure to kind of do a video on that, Cav, low key, bro? I think that'd be really interesting.
Yeah, that really would be.
Go. I was intrigued. I'm like, okay,
yeah. TikTok's crazy, man.
Wow. And then to answer this question, Larry, we thought about it. We really did. So there was people that were watching us do this. They were all horrified and disgusted with the fact that we were eating large cravings of meat and they're like, "Oh God, that's off. What's wrong with you two?"
Especially when I started to wash it down with an IPA. That's when several people lost it.
Why would you ruin a burger with that?
Because it's delicious.
No. Hats off to you guys, because a fully leaded Five Guys double patty, it's pretty big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you knock those back in 4 minutes, fam, like.
Now, I will say it wasn't with all the toppings. It was just what did we have? Mushrooms and mustard and cheese. Is that what it was? Or mushrooms and cheese?
Okay. That's
yeah.
That's a lot of beef. You know what I mean? That you got to follow with the bread.
I mean, there was a lot of meat sweat, so I'm not going to deny that.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it while I was doing it, and then about 45 minutes later, I was like, okay. And about 30 minutes after that, I was like, all right, I need to lay down and take a nap. 2-hour nap, and I was perfect.
Dude, that's the God's honest truth is like when we did it, like obviously when it felt like you were swallowing a giant air bubble, that sucked. But like my stomach never bothered me, but my God, I was so tired. Like it just smashed me in the face. I was like, oh God. And I didn't get a chance to nap, but my God, all I wanted to do was to sleep because it hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
I was so tired. But
I don't know if I can do that, man. Hats off to you guys.
I'll be honest with you. We even said that right after we did it. It was like, I probably could have eaten a third. Probably could have eaten because I didn't eat all day. Like I was ready.
Yeah, I only ate once that day. But Shawn, talk to us again in 6 months. We'll do. We may do it again, and then probably next year on April 10th again. So
yes, well, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Did you film these?
No.
Okay.
We should have though. Maybe we should just do it again, just and say we film it and say we did it again that time. Now that we know what to expect. But,
right.
Pretty soon, I'm going to be on my 600-pound life because this not moving around stuff. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah,
it's not good to my waistline.
Let me see what I got for steps going today. It's not going to be good. Ooh, yeah, I'm at less than 3,200 steps today. So
I got 5,300.
Okay,
I can tell you right now, if it wasn't for my wife, it would be the same way with me. But she gets in my ass every time. Like, no, come on, we're going to go. I'm like, I don't.
Nice.
That's good. That's good, it is. You know what I mean? Like she be on me. She be on me. But I promise you, it's a fight. It's a fight.
Video race to the bottom of a large Five Guys fry. There is no question. I'm winning that race.
Yeah, probably because
I love French fries.
I love Five Guys fries. But I gotta have ketchup with it, and that's gonna slow me down. So
yeah,
I'm the same way, dude. I can't eat Five Guys fries without ketchup. Like I need something on fries.
I need vinegar too on fries.
Oh,
vinegar.
Yeah.
Really? I need vinegar. I need vinegar.
Don't ruin a fry.
Just a little.
No.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little drizzle.
I cannot do that. I cannot do vinegar on fries.
You haven't lived, man. You haven't lived.
I got to be honest with you, Shawn. This is not going to be a popular thing. I love New York style pizza more than I love Chicago pizza.
Okay, so let's clarify something real quick because there is a huge listen, we don't. Are you referring to
the deep dish? Yeah,
right,
deep dish.
The sauce on top?
Yeah, it's the sauce on top and then the cheese, the cheese and everything is ooey and gooey. Don't get me wrong, it's really good. But that's not even my favorite pizza. Most Chicagoans will tell you, like, it's a pizza, but we like toppings on the pizza. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You like pizza plural.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But the Chicago deep dish is, it's good, but it's not something we're running back to every time. I can tell you that. So when you come back to Chicago, though, there is a pizza place and a burger place and a chicken wing place I can take you to that will beat anything New York has to offer. I can tell you that now.
I'm coming along on that trip because
I was going to say I got to go on this trip now.
Chicago.
You had me at food.
One of my favorite towns. So Shawn, of the deep dishes, which one is your favorite?
Oh, hands down, Giordano's.
Okay.
Giordano's, no.
No. Everybody talks about it.
Who you got, Kev? I'm curious.
Chicago's pizza, man. That's my spot.
No, they're good. They're good. I mean, with Giordano's, man. I mean,
Giordano's is the one that everybody knows about. I mean, we even have a Giordano's here in Columbus.
Yep.
It's not as good as the Giordano's in Chicago, but I will say the last time I was there was 2 or 3 summers ago. We went up there for a couple of days, and I got introduced to Lou Malnati's, and I really enjoyed that too.
So you know what's funny? Me personally, I am not a Lou Malnati's fan. I'm cool on it. It's an acquired taste, I feel like, because it's just so. There's a lot. Listen, I'll tell you what, guys. When you come back, you're going to gain weight. I'm telling you this now. You're going to gain. There's so
I'm gaining
much
it here. So
there's just so much. Like I feel like we have the best Chinese food. We definitely have the best Chinese food out of any place that I've been to.
Man,
I even like our Philly cheesesteaks better than I like the Philly steaks in Philly. I don't even like.
That's a bold statement, my friend.
Wow,
I'm telling you.
You're talking like you're from New York, because New Yorkers think everything they have is the best. You're talking like a New Yorker right now. I gotta be honest with you.
Listen, listen. There's a place that kind of comes close. Kind of like Los Angeles they have some pretty good food, but I would say the New York. I did have a New York slice. I would say New York pizza.
Did you fold it in half though? Did you fold it in half?
I did.
Okay,
I folded it in half.
Okay.
Yeah, I love New York pizza.
I would definitely choose that. I think I would choose that over Giordano's myself. The one I got it from, the one that the Spider-Man was in, or whatever, that Spider-Man restaurant pizza, whatever. That's the pizza I got it from, and I would probably choose them over Giordano. Like it was really good, really good.
Looks like we have got a lot of people wanting to talk about the food. What are our thoughts on the forbidden pizza toppings? I'll be honest with you. I love pineapple on pizza. I said it.
Nope.
Me too.
I love it.
Nope.
Love it.
Love it. It's really good. I've never had anchovies, so I can't speak on that. But pineapple on pizza, I can bang with that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say there is, for me personally, there is no forbidden topping on pizza, but everything in moderation and in appropriate proportion to the other toppings.
I get like
a true foodsman. I like that. That was
there's a reason wrong with him from like here up.
That was I like that. That was a good answer.
Yeah, like oh man, I'm gonna tell you what, we're gonna have to have just a show where we talk about food, gentlemen. Oh my lord.
Oh my god, man.
I love me some food.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. You can definitely bring back on that show.
All right, we'll come back on that show and talk about it. All right, so we're about that hour point. I want to give everybody their just due. So I'm gonna start with Shawn. Shawn, hit them with your socials. Where can they find you?
Okay, all right. So for those who are looking for me on Instagram or even my website, it's gonna be Brooks Media, and that's spelled with 2 S. So it's BROOK. SS Media. Again, so that's my website and my IG. My YouTube channel, he posted in here already. That's my new YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. I am no longer reviewing tech. I am all about camera gear now and things of that nature. So I would love for you guys to come check out that channel. There's some really good stuff coming on there. And again, thanks, Scott, for really, man. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, dude. Thanks for coming on. Of course, like I always say this to everybody, I always have a standing invitation anytime anybody wants to pop on Wednesday. So just let me know, throw you guys on. Absolutely. We'd love talking about it. You can see what we kind of get into on the show. So Kev, where can they find you?
Man, you can find me on Build-A-Bear Workshop. You can find me on Pinterest. You can find me on TikTok. I mean, anywhere. You can find me anywhere. Tech Ninja Speaks. That's it. I don't promote too much. If you want to find me, you get at me and you find me.
I'll make sure that after the show's over, I'll get everybody's information linked in the description for every replay out there. Stats, go ahead, hit them with your socials.
I am at Helix Heinlein on the tweet machine and Country Smith on the Instagram.
And you can find me at Scott Peachy on Twitter and at the Scott Peachy on the Instagram. And I'm getting into posting more photos. Hopefully, I always say that and I never actually do anything with it. So anyway, thanks for watching the show. We're going to be back next week, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we will see you all in about a week. Thanks, y'all, for coming on the show.
See you.
Yeah.